So when we talk about achieving great things, especially in these really high stakes fields like aviation, our minds often jump straight to knowledge, skills, experience.
Right.
Those feel like the big three, the foundations, don't they? You've got to master the craft, know your stuff cold, have that solid track record.
Absolutely. They're non-negotiable.
But what if there's something else, maybe a more elusive, almost like a secret ingredient that really separates the good from the truly great? What if it's not just what you know or what you can do, but maybe how you show up?
Well, that's the core paradox, isn't it? Because you see these highly accomplished people, not just pilots, but, in any demanding job.
Yeah.
They have immense talent, tons of experience, and yet sometimes they make these choices or errors that just seem, completely out of character.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, what's really at play there? And that's precisely what we're diving into today. We're cracking open Captain Ashutosh Chopra's The Commercial Pilot's Handbook, specifically Chapter-21, and it unearths this concept that's so critical, he actually calls it discipline, the art of self-regulation.
That's a great way to put it. Self-regulation.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack why discipline isn't just about, ticking boxes or following the rules someone else sets.
It's more internal.
Exactly. It's an internal compass, crucial for safety, crucial for excellence, and, as we'll find out, it applies way beyond the cockpit.
Oh, definitely. This deep dive, I think it'll really peel back the layers on what discipline truly is, how subtly it operates, or sometimes how it doesn't operate, and why it's often this unseen force behind consistent success, or, flip side, the surprising root cause of some pretty significant failures.
It's fundamental, but often, misunderstood or just sort of overlooked.
Completely.
Okay, so let's start where Captain Chopra does. He gives this definition. It's profound, but almost sounds deceptively simple. Discipline is what you do when no one is watching you.
That hits hard, doesn't it?
It really does. It flips a lot of our usual ideas about discipline on their head.
It really does.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating there is the distinction the chapter makes. It's crucial. You've got the externally enforced discipline.
Right, like rules, regulations.
Yeah, where you follow them because there's a threat of punishment, consequences if you don't. Traffic laws, company policies, that kind of thing.
300 stuff.
But then there's this internal self-imposed discipline. And the author describes that as a call from within us to do the right thing.
A call from within. I like that.
That's where the real mastery and often the real challenge lies. It's a conscious choice you make.
And this distinction, it really comes into focus when you think about something like standard operating procedures, SOPs, in aviation.
Oh, absolutely.
Chopra calls them a safety net, right? Meticulously designed to be fail-safe, to trap threats, prevent errors. They're the written rules for playing it safe.
Precisely. The whole framework, the SOPs, they're engineered to guide pilots down this safe, predictable path. But Chopra argues that poor discipline, it generates this force that actively pulls you away from that safe path. And it leaves no safety net. It's almost like deciding to walk a tightrope, but choosing to ignore the net that's right there for you.
Which raises the question, if the procedures are there, they're clear, why would anyone, especially a seasoned pro, deviate?
Exactly. And this is where it gets really thought-provoking, maybe a bit counterintuitive. The book highlights this surprising truth that many accidents are actually attributed to the deviant nature of a highly qualified pilot.
Highly qualified. So not just rookies making mistakes.
Not at all. It shows that expertise, while absolutely vital, just isn't enough on its own. You need that self-discipline to go with it.
It's like the paradox of competence, maybe. Sometimes the better you get, the more critical that internal discipline becomes, because you start thinking, I can bend the rules a bit.
Indeed. It's such a critical insight. You can have all the knowledge, all the experience, but if there's a fundamental lack of internal discipline, well, it can just negate every other advantage you have.
Like having a high-performance race car, but deciding to drive it off-road.
Exactly. The tool is great, but how you use it, that's discipline.
So if self-discipline is so foundational, how does indiscipline manage to sneak in? The book talks about its insidious nature. Think about it. When flights are totally uneventful, everything goes smoothly. Self-discipline often goes completely unnoticed, right?
What do you even think about?
It can even just look like plain luck. But the author argues, quite compellingly, I think, that it's actually pilots subconsciously exercising discipline, quietly defying the laws of probability that would otherwise catch up eventually.
And what's fascinating here is a concept Chopra brings up called the intermediate syndrome.
Okay, what's that?
It's this potentially dangerous phase where your newly developed skills lead to overconfidence. But it happens before your true capabilities actually match up with how good you think you are.
I think I know that feeling.
Right. We've all been there. The book says this is often the time when the first signs of self-indiscipline surface. It's a classic trap, really.
For anyone learning something new, yeah. A new driver, someone learning a sport.
Or even a manager after a few successful projects. You feel like, okay, I've got this, but you haven't quite mastered the self-regulation needed for real, consistent excellence.
And this indiscipline, it isn't always some huge, dramatic, rule-breaking thing like, I don't know, unauthorized, low-flying.
Rarely that obvious at first.
The book gives these great examples of how it can be really subtle and insidious and maybe not even deliberate.
Like the air traffic control example.
Yeah, tell us about that one.
Okay, so a pilot is clearly told to monitor a specific frequency. That means listen only, don't transmit.
Got it.
But they go ahead and contact the tower anyway, and it leads to the controller's, exasperated reply. What part of monitor did you not understand?
Ouch. Yeah.
That's a breakdown in RT discipline, radio telephony discipline. Even if it seems minor, it's a failure to follow a clear, simple instruction.
And there was another one about speed control?
Yes, another example of this subtle but often willful indiscipline. Speed control in busy airspace. You might hear an exasperated controller asking an errant crew why they're flying faster than they were told to.
So they're ignoring the mandated speed.
Exactly. And this isn't usually an oversight. It's often a deliberate choice. And it just complicates things in high-density traffic, makes the controller's job harder, creates potential conflicts.
It affects the whole system.
Directly impacts efficiency and safety for everyone.
Okay, and then there's the sterile cockpit rule. This is a big one.
Mm-hmm. Designed to prevent distractions during really high workload times, like takeoff, landing, generally below 10,000 feet AGL.
Right, when focus is paramount.
Yet Chopra notes pilots are often guilty of not following the concept in letter and spirit.
How so?
Allowing things like mild flight deck banter or grabbing a quick bite or a cup of coffee during those critical phases.
Seems minor, maybe?
Well, he points out that, sure, 99.9% of the time it might not affect the flight. But it is a willful rule break. And if you do it repeatedly, it just solidifies into a habit. And that habit, that casual bending of the rules, that's where the real danger lies.
Because when the stakes are suddenly really high, that habit is already ingrained.
Precisely. It's like, consistently showing up 5 minutes late for meetings. Seems minor until you miss that one crucial meeting entirely because the habit was already there.
Okay, so if we sort of zoom out from just the flight itself, it becomes clear that discipline in aviation, like the author says, isn't just about flight ops.
No, not at all.
It must be exercised at all times to make sure you're actually fit to fly.
Which means it extends way beyond the cockpit doors, really into a pilot's whole life. It's a holistic commitment.
That's a huge insight. Take fatigue, for instance. The text talks about how it just insidiously affects your attention, your motor skills, your judgment.
Yeah, it creeps up on you.
Yet pilots sometimes decide to fly in a fatigued condition. And the example given is pretty stark. Choosing to binge-watch TV and sleep at 0100 H's when you have to wake up at 0400 H's for an early duty, even though there's maybe a 12-hour rest mandate and you know you need, say, 8 hours of actual sleep.
Who's making that choice?
Yeah.
It's a personal decision, right? To disregard your own well-being.
It's not some external force making you tired. It's an internal failure of self-discipline.
Mm-hmm. And this brings up such an important point about personal wellness, which really applies to all of us, not just pilots.
True.
Chopra emphasizes that ensuring proper sleep, proper nutrition, adequate rest, as well as exercise is a part of self-discipline.
It's all connected.
It's about maintaining a state where you're consistently fit to do your job safely and effectively. Neglecting those basics, even if nobody else knows, that's a direct breach of self-discipline.
And it can have serious downstream effects.
Like a chef neglecting their knife skills, maybe. Or an athlete ignoring their diet. It inevitably impacts performance down the line.
Yeah, good analogy. And even with all the crew resource management training, the CRM, which is all about teamwork communication.
Right, working together effectively.
Chopra writes that sometimes a sheer lack of imposing discipline on ourselves leads to pilots losing our temper on each other at the flight deck.
Oof, not good.
Using caustic tones with sarcasm and prejudice. His words. If you can't control your own reactions, your own emotions with your teammate.
How can you truly control the aircraft or manage the team effectively when things get really critical.
Exactly. It puts a spotlight on that internal work you need to do just to be a good team member, let alone a pilot.
And another thing highlighted is the willful negligence of not making the effort to constantly hone our skills and enhance our knowledge.
Even though you're flying these, multi-million-dollar aircraft carrying human lives on board.
Skills and knowledge, they erode over time, don't they? Like any muscle you don't use.
Yeah, they get rusty.
So this lack of continuous effort to stay sharp, Chopra presents that as another form of self-indiscipline. It's choosing complacency over commitment.
And that affects everyone, really, in any field where skills matter, medicine, software.
Absolutely. You have to keep learning.
So what happens then when this indiscipline goes unchecked? When you keep, getting away with it?
Well, the book says this just reinforces the belief that, hey, indiscipline has no consequences, which is dangerous.
Because it can lead to a major incident much later down the road.
Right. The example given is continuing a destabilized approach at 1,000 feet AGL again and again, hundreds of times maybe.
Pushing the limits.
And then one day, maybe conditions are slightly different, maybe you're a bit tired, and that's the time it leads to a runway excursion.
You might have been lucky all those other times.
But eventually, the laws of probability and physics, well, they catch up.
It's like always speeding on that familiar road back home. You might not get caught for months or even years.
But eventually, something bad becomes almost inevitable.
Okay, this brings us to another crucial point you mentioned earlier, the contagious nature of this stuff, both discipline and indiscipline.
Yes, this is really interesting. When you observe highly disciplined pilots who achieve really high standards,
it makes others want to emulate them, right?
Exactly. It generates trust, team spirit,
Right.
Good CRM. It's like a positive ripple effect. Creates a strong culture of excellence.
But the flip side, equally true and maybe more dangerous.
Just as contagious. The book warns about falling prey to macho behavior, or just casually accepting when another pilot shows non-compliance with rules and regulations.
Or letting it slide.
Yeah, and that slowly leaks into your own behavior. Chopra emphasizes it's essential never to accept or approve of a display of indiscipline.
That takes courage, though, sometimes.
It does. It requires strong CRM skills, assertiveness, the guts, to maybe call out even a subtle breach. Not just for the other person, but to protect yourself from falling into that same trap.
It's like any team setting, isn't it? If one person starts cutting corners.
It can quickly become the norm for everyone if it's not addressed.
So the big question then, can this flight discipline stuff be learned? Or are you just born with it?
Oh, absolutely. It can be learned. The book affirms it can be learned and developed. The goal is for it to become an inherent part of our nature.
So it's not a fixed trait like eye color. It's a skill you cultivate.
Definitely.
And it goes way beyond just, being physically fit, mentally fit, having the knowledge. Those are just the prerequisites, the starting point.
Right.
Discipline extends to your diligence in pre-flight prep, how you actually bond with your team before you even get in the plane, and then maintaining that alertness and attentiveness to the minutest detail throughout the flight. It's constant active engagement.
It's showing up fully prepared, focused all the time.
Okay, but this raises a really deep question, kind of the core of self-regulation. Who's actually watching all this internal discipline?
Ah, yes. Chopra introduces this profound idea. No one but you who will watch yourself, to keep your actions under scrutiny and to debrief yourself.
Wow. So you become your own watchdog in a way.
Exactly. He emphasizes making your conscious mind look inwards as a third person, observing yourself with a detached critical eye.
That's a powerful mental shift. Being your own objective observer.
It's like having an internal flight data recorder. Doesn't just record, but analyzes too. Always monitoring, always reviewing.
The book suggests discipline can come subconsciously, through just ingrained good airmanship, good habits.
Or consciously, through cold-blooded reasoning, deliberate choice.
But until it becomes automatic, until it's truly second nature.
It has to be conscious. It's a matter of practice in self-awareness, constantly checking in with yourself.
And this leads us to Chopra's ultimate warning, which is pretty stark.
It is, he says. Lack of discipline will negate all aspects of knowledge, skill, and experience because no one can save you from yourself.
Ooh, that's blunt.
It really is. You can have all the right tools, the best training, all the talent in the world.
Well,
but if you don't apply them with consistent self-discipline, they become useless. Or worse, dangerous.
It's like owning that gym membership versus actually going and doing the workout. The potential is there, but discipline activates it.
Perfectly put.
So what does this all mean for actually cultivating this crucial skill? How do we get better at it?
Well, the book concludes this section by really highlighting the importance of diligently debriefing the flight or whatever task it is with honesty and integrity.
The debrief.
Yeah. It's presented as this vital feedback process. It enhances self-awareness. It enhances self-discipline. It's this continuous loop. Act, review, learn, adjust for next time.
It's about becoming your own most rigorous but fair critic, constantly striving to improve, not just brushing things under the rug.
Exactly. It's about not letting yourself off the hook too easily.
Right. So, to bring it all back then, wrap things up, Captain Chopra makes it crystal clear, doesn't he?
He really does.
Discipline is an essential attitude and a critical attribute of a good pilot, while indiscipline, on the other hand, is a hazard.
It's that simple and yet that profound.
Couldn't agree more.
And it's perfectly captured, I think, by that wise old saying in aviation.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
There are old pilots and bold pilots.
There are no old, bold pilots.
Mm-hmm. Says it all, really. Boldness without discipline. Not a recipe for longevity.
A truly impactful thought. And it resonates far beyond just aviation, doesn't it? We started this deep dive thinking about what separates the good from the great, and we landed on that core idea. Discipline is what you do when no one is watching you.
Right.
But now, maybe the twist is you know someone is watching you.
It's you.
It's you watching yourself. This whole art of self-regulation, it's about cultivating that internal detached critical eye.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the thought to leave everyone with is this. As you go about your day, what areas of your own life could be work projects, personal goals, relationships, even just your health habits? What areas could benefit from turning that internal observer on?
Becoming your own guide.
Yeah. How can you become your own most effective guide, making sure that what you do when no one is watching is exactly what you'd be proud for the world to see?